our generation, we grew up on the internet where at a time a lot of acceptable. When we grew up on the internet, you could find the craziest on YouTube, you could find the craziest, and now this is like what we could say the last. When was the apocalypse? Ever since then, for real?
17.
How long ago was it? 17. Since 2017, YouTube specifically, and now really pretty much the entire internet. Well, not the entire internet, but most of these mainstream apps and websites. It's been a shift, and it's still an adjustment period. Now, it's fair to say it's 2023. We've had since 2017 to adjust to it. That's fine. I can tell you now that it's not long enough for most to spend 10 plus, 15 plus their developmental years growing up where you can just watch it off. You can watch just the crazy on the norm. So people like Aiden who grew up in that culture, and now you have this platform, and you're still young yourself. You would still try to take it back there. I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying I can realistically see why there are so many people that are just so quick to be like, oh, there's no TOS here. Bet boom, because that's what they grew up on. That's what they're used to, and that's what they like. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying I definitely understand why they have that standpoint or they have that outlook.
If given the opportunity to live in a lawless society or live in a lawless world, and your first instinct is to go to some of these things, you have a problem, period. You have a problem, and help needs to be brought to you. You probably need to be brought to an institution, or somebody needs to institutionalize you. I don't know Aiden's background or whatever the case may be. I think he's a little bit younger than us. No, I know he's a little bit younger than us. So I can't even attest to him growing up in an era that you're referring to, Damo, that you're talking about when they were cutting people's heads off and stuff like that. I can't attest to that. You can't attest to that.
He's like 21.
He's about
at most,
me
he's
and Sage's
22.
age.
Yeah, at most he's 22.
He's 22.
That's 4 years removed from us. Come on, gang.
How old were you? At least at least from what I remember, when I was the age of somebody cutting somebody's head off on the internet. Can we say that? When I was that age,
stop.
Too late now.
When I was that age, at the oldest, I may have been 8, 9. 4 years, 8, 9. 4 years younger than that would put Aiden at 4 or 5. I don't think he was accessing the internet the same way that we were. Okay,
so when he was 8, how
the internet rules changed.
No, they did not.
Yeah, they did.
No, they did. When we were 8 and 9, Omar.
No, you said when he was 8. You said when he was 8.
When he was 8, that was 08, 09. So,
like, what are we doing, Omar?
Yes, the internet rules changed then.
No, they did not. 08, 09?
Yes.
Nigga, I can remember. Nigga, you can literally go on YouTube and watch lesbians making out in 08, 09.
Damo.
We can do that.
I know computer regulations and compliance and rules. In 08, 09, internet regulatory rules were changing. Now, I'm not saying he could not find it at all, but the same way that you and I accessed it, no. So with that being said, I'm adding to, it's hard for me to believe that was something regular in his life. But even if, let's continue to follow down that path and trajectory. If you could not identify that was wrong, then something is wrong with you. And now at the age of 22, if you still can't identify that something was wrong and you shouldn't be trying to portray that or bring that shit back up, something was wrong with you. Something was actively wrong with you. Period.
For Aiden to look at, this is a platform where you can do anything you want without much repercussion and do what he's doing. It's like, gang, no one is telling you to do this, dog. Like, it's not a requirement. It is not a requirement. All right. And that's what I was talking about with like the other streamers coming on. It's like, take the money. The TOS doesn't, like, if there is no TOS, you can still do whatever you want, protect your brand and all of that. But the appeal is just that it's a platform that gives you the freedom to do whatever the fuck you want. It's not a green light, though.
I'm sorry.
Nigga graduated to Tim Duncan's championship.
07 is insane. I want y'all to understand. I'm not spinning the idea that the internet wasn't crazy in 2007. I'm saying the way in which you access things in 04 04, 05, 05, 06. As we were talking about when we was 8 or whatever. Around that time was different. Look at you. Was different than when you access stuff 4 years later. That's what I'm saying. So, right, you could go on Google, type in beheading, and a beheading would pop up. It did not work the same way like 4 years later. That's what I'm saying. I understand. And yeah, and I know live chat is there. Live chat, I can guarantee you, none of y'all have any credit to what you're saying. I promise you.
But even if it's changed, though, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Don, but your point is in 09, 010, there was still like, you can still get away with seeing and saying a lot of shit on the internet. So the edgy culture still existed. Yeah. Regardless of if it wasn't as bad as it was 4 years ago, at least, especially compared to 2023, you can still get away with doing a lot of shit and have no repercussions.
I don't disagree with that, but still laying out the foundation matters to me. So this is all just step by step by step by step. Because again, if you can't identify it when you were 8, Damo, when you saw it, because we may be talking about the same video because it was going crazy. When you saw what was supposed to be the Taliban kidnapping a dude with the bag over his head and he cut his head off, you knew that was wrong at that time, right? You said to yourself,
"Yo, stop! Yo, stop!"
And you said to yourself, "You said to yourself, whoa, I don't know how I got on this. I should probably not be seeing this."
I got on there. What?
Whoa, I ain't gonna lie. I knew how I got on it too.
I know I got on it.
Let me say something. My brother and my cousins were just awful people, but I knew how I got there.
I'm about to say, like, listen, let's be honest. I had older, it was always the older cousins putting you on to some shit. So I'm about to say, I know I was there. Now,
my uncle showed me the Maze game, dog. Didn't even know what it was. Shaking.
I ain't the one
that do 2 girls. Yeah. Wait. So Omar. So I'm gonna ask you a question, and you know, Soul Sage. This ain't even for y'all. Just let the grown folks talk. Do you remember how you came in contact with the 2 Girls 1 Cup video? And someone in live chat just said something about it. Do you remember how you came across it, Omar?
Let me say this. 1, I didn't grow up in a religious home. Stop it. 2, having a mic doesn't make me credible. I'll put my research back up to your research. Let's do it. Yeah. Do I remember I saw the 2 Girls 1 Cup video? Yeah. I got showed. I think honestly, if I'm not mistaken, 2 Girls 1 Cup, when I saw it, might have been on E-Bomb's World. If I'm not mistaken.
I didn't see it on like a porn website. I remember vividly. Like it was a website where you would just go. It was like the dark web, but like you wasn't buying people. It was just random like beheadings and obscene videos. But it wasn't. That was what internet culture was back then. So for kids growing up, I understand why niggas is like, all right, I got a platform that's not TOS, blah, blah, blah. So they can say whatever, do whatever. That's literally what's the pitch. So I get it. Now, is it shameful? Yes. Should you be doing that and instilling that into the youth? No. I understand what he's doing is wrong. I'm just saying, like, to act for the people, for the crowd saying, I don't know why people would even want to, like, come on, gang. Like, let's not be that naive. Let's not be that narrow-minded about this. Like, let's not act like the internet hasn't made a dramatic shift within recent memory. And there was people that literally grew up on an unfiltered Wild Wild West internet. Literally, look back at cowboy culture. When niggas implemented just cities and regular, like, modern life, there were plenty of people that just weren't ready to be just modernized people. Niggas still want to be cowboys. That's all I'm saying. Were they right? No. But, nigga, you ain't going to just tell a nigga that was living like this for 20 years, oh, yeah, bruh, that ain't acceptable no more. Live like this. And, yes, I'm referring to Red Dead. For anybody, before you even say it, yes, I am talking strictly about Red Dead as my source. That's my credits. That's my statistics.
Regardless of all that, because I don't even want to harp on that one, to be honest with you. Yeah, for somebody who claims, and he said it today, you know, I owe the Black community so much. What's it called? Without the Black community, it wouldn't be no Aiden Ross. Yeah, that's absolutely fine for you to then do racist jokes or race-based jokes that are that distasteless. And I'm calling them jokes very loosely. Yeah.
Not even
but
for real.
I understand the audience that he harbors, the move that he's trying to cultivate. It was so funny because somebody told me in his chat he's trying to cultivate like a younger white audience. All these things are very telling.
Let me just say this too, because I feel like what the fuck. I feel like I'm self-aware enough of myself to know that I do have a decent amount of black influence in like some of my slang, the topics that I cover, the music that I listen to, the media that I consume and stuff like that. So when it comes to Aiden, like that's pretty much what he was alluding to too. And coming from that perspective, it just seemed like there wasn't even there was just no respect in like what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? And correct me if I'm wrong up here, but I feel like I carry myself in a respectful way, even though like, you know, I am influenced by a lot of these things. Like
me.
I mean that's subjective because you know we have certain black viewers who every time they in the comments they try to tell you about yourselves, but I mean, that's just certain people. So it's subjective to the black person. So to us,
I'm gonna just say right now, I try to be as respectful as possible because I am that self-aware. So that's why even if I make the edgy jokes that Aiden's saying, I know I can't just say it's just a joke to me because out of respect. But
I personally, I personally feel like you're respectful. You can give perspective even in conversations I deal with black people from like a minority perspective, but you tend to at least let the room breathe and have their dialogue when it's black. And that's fine. I think that's what you would do if you in one breath would make the claim that you benefit from black culture. And I'm not saying you say this, but would go as far as to say without black culture there would not be an X, Y, and Z. However, this is just another example of these people doing what they do. I don't expect, honestly, I don't expect anything different from Aiden Ross. So
that shit was just corny to me, dog. To pull that card, that's crazy.
I mean, I find it funny that we're having this conversation because I can vaguely remember, vividly remember way back when Soluminati made one of his 18 returns to YouTube and he was attacking the aliens. We talked about it. He was like, oh, does So have a point? And I remember sitting there saying, yo, this shit's whack as fuck. It's not funny. It's corny. It's detrimental. He's going to have to one-up this by doing crazier and wilder shit. I sat there and said this on this very camera. Well, no, it was an older camera, but still said the same shit. And everyone else is like, and I ended it by saying, let's just wait and see. Wait and see what else he does because he's going to do more dumb shit because that's how his content is created. That's how he's cultivated this audience ever since retiring from 2K. He has to just do crazy shit, wild shit, viral-ass shit to stay relevant. And now it's got to the point to where he's just taking influence from fucking, ever since the Fulio shit, I ain't going to lie, it's been a little bit of shift in his tone since fucking with a couple rappers and getting checked. Then he took the Andrew Tate route, and now he's doing this shit. And he's just weird. He's been a weirdo since day one. And now it takes this type of shit for everyone to realize it. Like, nah, I'm not surprised. We shouldn't even be having this fucking conversation. This nigga should have been packed up years ago. When he was sitting on niggas' laps for entertainment, that's when we should have known, all right, something ain't right about this kid. But nah, it was for the content. Nah, let him get his bag. All right, cool.
And that's the crazy thing too about Andrew Tate is like going back to the 5% thing I was talking about. His 5%, his 1% are people who have influenced themselves. Facts. So that's a Aiden Ross, that's a Sneeko. So I don't know. That shit is just crazy to me, man.